guys, it's Ashley from Ashley's Got Book Excitement, and I'm here with my April wrap-up and my May TBR. That sounded violent, didn't it? I read 5 books in April, which isn't bad. It's the same amount of books that I read in March. Who knows? I mean, I wish I could read like 13, 14. I can't. I can't even read 10, 11, 8. Yeah, it's just not possible. So anyway, I'm going to go through the books I read. You're probably tired of me rambling already, and this video just started. So the first book that I read was Ex-Heroes by Peter Clines. This is the first book in a new series, I believe. Got it for review from NetGalley, and the concept sounded uber awesome. It was superheroes and zombies. So there were zombies obviously the zombie plague has happened, and there are survivors holed up in an old movie studio in Los Angeles, and they are protected by superheroes because they exist in this world. And I was so excited to read this. I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to love this. I ended up giving it a 3. It was just okay for me. And I was really excited for it. But I think the biggest problem that I had was like the lack kind of characterization. You didn't feel anything for the characters. So if one of them died or got bitten, it was like, oh well, who cares? Who's next? Yeah, I just make the reader feel for the characters, you know? Make the reader care what happens to them. I'm sure it would have been such a much better book. But there was that, and then the other thing, it would be in the present, and then it would go to the past, and it would go back to the present, and then it would go back to the past. Now, I'm not saying that I don't like books that like go back into the past, but this one, I don't know, I feel like in a zombie book where a zombie plague has happened, you should start when the plague happens and then go along. Just chronicle the journey that the characters go on instead of just going, I'm here, now I'm back there, now I'm here, now I'm back there. I don't know. But, I mean, if you want to try a zombie/superhero book, try it out. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. It just wasn't for me. The next book that I read was Pure by Juliana Baggott? Who knows? I ended up giving this book a 5 out of 5. I loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. It's an apocalyptic, dystopian world where nuclear bombs have gone off and the whole world is like ravaged. People are fused with inanimate objects like fans in the throat and dolls on the hand and glass in the face. And there's only a small population of people that were protected from the explosions in this dome. And so this boy named Patrick, he lives in the dome, and he's always heard that his mother died as a martyr, kind of. Like she went out to save people in the wasteland or something. But then he gets an inkling from what his father said that his mother is still alive out there somewhere. So he escapes the dome and he goes out to find his mother. And he meets up with Prescia, a girl who lives out in the wasteland and who was affected by the explosions, and yeah, they go on an adventure together. They find out stuff. It's a really cool book. I can't wait to see what happens in Fuse. I am excited for it, and yeah, I love that book. Then I read Faded by Benedict Jacka. I gave this book a 3.3 out of 5. I wasn't too happy with the first of it. I found the first part kind of boring, because there was a lot of explanation and a lot of, I guess, introduction to the world, to how things work, but it just kind of bored me a little bit. But the second half I found very fun. It was, you know, the adventure happened, like the action happened, and I'll probably read the next book in the series. It is the first book in a series, I should say. It's an Alex Verus novel, and Alex Verus is a mage by birth, a diviner. He can see all the possible aspects of the future in his head. And he is just living his life. He doesn't really like mage politics, wizard politics, I guess, so he keeps himself out of it. But then suddenly light mages and dark mages are both coming for him because they need his help to find this ancient relic or something that will make them more powerful or whatever. So he gets sucked into something that he doesn't really want to be sucked into. And I enjoyed it at the end. Not at the beginning, at the end. So yeah. The fourth book that I read was Sketchy by Olivia Sams. I ended up giving this book a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. I did. This was also a book that I got for review from NetGalley, from Amazon Children's Publishing, I believe. I really liked it. It's about this girl named B. Washington. She has just been released from a rehab center because she was addicted to drugs. And so she comes back home. She has to start a new school because she got kicked out of her fancy private one for the drugs, and her parents don't trust her. She's just going through a hard time, and she also has this unique and makes life hard ability of she can, like, when people are really thinking of something, like an image in their head, sometimes she'll get sucked in and she'll just draw whatever they're thinking of. And this skill proves dangerous when she looks into the eyes of a girl named Willa, who has she has been the victim of a rape and near murder. And when B looks into her eyes, she gets this image of the killer. So it's a fun one of those books where we hunt down killers. Yay, yay, yay. The first scene was so awesome, though. So awesome. I knew I had to keep reading after that. So it is the first in a series. It's called the Bee Catcher Chronicles. Get it? Because her name is Bee, and she catches people. Buzz. That's the joke. But it's very short, very cool. I love the cover. It's a bit more mature reading. It's like, I would kind of link it sort of to the Body Finder series, except B is more grown up than Violet is. Yeah. And then the last book that I read in April was The Flight of Jim Hardy by Margot Livesey. I ended up giving this book 3. It was okay. I don't know. It's just, I read it and I kind of enjoyed it, but it's not something that I would read again. It's just very, I don't know, it's like this, it doesn't really have a story to it. This girl just goes from place to place to place. She's got an aunt that hates her, so then she moves to a boarding school, and the boarding school she's treated like a slave girl. Then she becomes an au pair for a little girl, and she ends up kind of falling for the guardian, the little girl's guardian. Then something happens and she runs away, and then she's rescued and she holds up with these 2 women, and then she runs away from them and goes to Iceland. And yeah, I'm not going to tell you the end, but it's just, I don't know if I even like this girl that much. Anytime something hard comes up, or she makes stupid decisions and then she runs away, and there were so many characters to keep up with, and it was just not my favorite of books. It was okay, but not my favorite. So now for a May TBR, this is subject to change. None of these books are set in stone. This is just what I might read. So first, I am reading The Twisted Thread by Charlotte Bacon. I think it should be kind of fun. It's a murder that takes place at, well, I say murder, and I don't even really know if it's a murder. A girl dies at this prestigious high school kind of academy where a bunch of rich kids attend, and the girl that dies is the pretty rich girl who turns out to have secrets. I don't know, it should be fun. Death is not fun, but murder mysteries are, right? Right. Then, finally, The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer by Michelle Hodkin. I know I said I was going to read this last month, but obviously I didn't get to it. I'm excited. I'm excited for this one. Then, in Office Hours by Lucy Kellaway, it revolves around 2 women's office romances and all the good and bad that come with them. Yeah, so it kind of sounds like a chick lit book, but I'm not sure. It could be sad because things don't work out. I just like this cover though because it's kind of got a story in the cover. Like she's kissing the guy in this panel, and then in this panel it shows, like, I guess that they work together, and then in this panel he does what he wants and she's crying in the bathroom. So yeah, I'm excited to read this one. And then Sophie Kinsella, I've Got Your Number. Love a Sophie Kinsella book. This is also a chick lit. They are just funny books, and in this one, a lady loses her ring, in her engagement ring, in a fire drill or something like that, and she loses her phone too, so she needs a phone so they can call her when they find the ring, so she steals a phone. Well, she takes a phone from a trash can. Little does she know that this phone belongs to a man, and he wants his phone back, and she just kind of messes with his life through this phone. Romance may ensue. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work because she's engaged. Maybe she doesn't like him that much, but yeah, excited. And then Her Sky Cowboy by Beth Ciota. This sounds so awful when you say it like that, but it is the first book in the Glorious Victorious Darcys. It looks like steampunk with cowboys and, I don't know, London's in there. How did cowboys get to London? I don't even know. It looks really cool though. And this would be steampunk. I probably said that already. I like steampunk, steampunk, steampunk.